What is going on? Welcome to episode 28 of the most professional Nintendo podcast on the internet. That's right.
You?
What is going on?
Dude,
welcome
you punched
to
your mic
so hard right there. That was the best. But hey, this is episode 28 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Player 2 is Destinaut. What's up, dude?
What's up? Dude, we got oh man, I don't even know what gen console it was. What was the first console to have 4 ports? Was it the N64? I figured you'd know.
I think so.
4 ports native.
That's what I mean. I mean, I'm not talking because even the NES I think had a 4-port adapter.
It did.
No adapters here though. Not tonight.
No adapters here. Okay. All right. Well, hey, we got player 3. Hate, what's going on? Or you changed your name to N64 Hate in the Discord. We were trying to decide between Hate Not, which was like kind of like a play on Destinaut.
Is that the anti-hate if you hate not?
I gotta play with it. Maybe it's like Dest Hate. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but then
work on it.
While on stream, they picked N64 Hate. So, it was I Hate My Life 04 is this gamer tag. So, welcome, bud. You're gonna be more of a regular around here, right?
That's the plan.
Okay.
That is the plan.
He's gonna bring the sexy. So, be ready, everybody.
My apologies to everybody.
And player 4, player 4 tonight. Run, jump, stomp, otherwise known as RJS. What's up, my friend?
How's it going, everybody?
It's going good.
Amazing.
Going good. We're glad you're here with us. We're going to talk about you first, but before we do that, guys, we have our first sponsor. If you'd like to get yourself a free audiobook from Audible, you can go to audibletrial.com/NPC. And there you can get a book of your choice. Captain Logan often recommends Console Wars. We always recommend Ready Player One if you're a gamer. It's a really good book. And Spielberg has a movie coming out. Mm-hmm. You got over 30,000 titles. If you're into Star Wars, you'll find something. Get yourself a free book, audibletrial.com/NPC, and you'll help support this show. And we really, really appreciate it.
You mind if I recommend a book?
Please.
Yeah. American on Purpose by Craig Ferguson. Fantastic book.
The Craig Ferguson, like the ex-talk show host?
Yeah, it's mostly about alcoholism and drug addiction.
Yeah, he was big
but
into that.
But it's really good.
Huh. I'm going to have to check that out because I'm a huge fan of his.
Kids, make sure to ask your parents about that. We do this show live Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/N64Josh. Come hang out with us. We'd love it if you did. You can also listen to the show on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. Just look for the Nintendo Powercast. Now, all that's out of the way. All the fun stuff. This is going to be a little different show. It's all downhill. Yeah, it's all downhill after this. So we have a lot to cover. And so we might kind of throw in what we've been playing. But for the most part, we're gonna just rock and roll this thing. So run, jump, stomp.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about yourself. Tell us about the content that you create. Give us the lowdown.
I'm a Twitch streamer like yourself, and I love Nintendo, so I made a Nintendo podcast called Nintendo Switchcraft, which you can find on iTunes and all the other places that you listed. And I just love talking about video games, so that's why I decided to make video game content, because there isn't enough out there.
Right. Right. And so I heard the guys on the Switchcast mention that they were on your show. Is that correct? I know there was I'm pretty sure. Didn't you have one of them on?
Yeah, I had KC from Switchcast on my show, just an interview back when, I think it might have actually been before the actual Switch came out, but after the announcement. And he came on and we talked for a little bit, and then he invited me to go on his show. I think it was like a month ago, and we talked about it was during E3, so it was it was the E3 show I was on there.
Right. So yeah, so I I remember hearing he mentioned you, and I immediately went over and listened to your cast, and then I think the rest is history. I think I may have jumped into a stream, or I don't know. I don't remember, but here we are. We've been into each other's streams a few times, just kind of hung out. We even recorded a podcast on your show that was all about.
That's right.
We had
new
Super
2DS.
Yeah, the new 2DS with Super Nintendo. So, so we've kind of collaborated a little bit. It's been pretty cool. And so finally our schedules aligned, and you're able to join us. But let's take a little trip back. What got you hooked in gaming? What made you fall in love with Nintendo? And take us back to little 6-year-old RJS or 3-year-old, whatever, however old you were.
I don't know how old I was. That's an interesting idea to figure that out. But my grandmother, she worked in a bar, and she worked the day shift where most of the harmless barflies would hang out. And my mom would take me to go so she could see her mom, and they had a Donkey Kong machine there. And they would just give me quarters because they would take the quarters out at the end of the day and collect the quarters. So they would just give me a bunch of quarters out of the register, and I would just sit there and play Donkey Kong all day long while my mom was over talking to my grandmother. And the old barflies that were sitting there, I would go up to get more quarters, and they'd be like, would you like a soda, or would you like have some Dipsy Doodles or whatever? Those are corn chips for those of you that don't live in the US. But that's where I got hooked, was playing that. And I ended up shagging golf balls out of the woods near my house and saving up all my money in order to buy my first home video game system, which was not a Nintendo. It was an Atari 2600. But as soon as I got an NES, I knew Nintendo's where it's at. But that first thing with Donkey Kong, that was so much fun.
Very cool, man. Very cool. I was definitely an arcade rat. Brian, you did some arcade stuff back in the day, right?
Yeah, mainly Pizza Huts, because they used to actually have arcades in Pizza Huts back in the day. And a little bit like at the local malls, they had like the arcade built in. So yeah, here and there.
Hate, how about you? Did you spend much time in the arcade?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There were the 2 malls in town had a Tilt, and then I forget what the other one was called. And then we have Wonderland still, which is I don't know if everywhere has it or if it's a Northwest thing, but it's full-blown arcade. Nowadays, though, it's like DDR and just crap like that.
Yeah, arcades have really taken a dive.
It's just like ticket grabs.
I'm lucky, though. My wife, her cousin owns a coin-op company, and they just sold us an Asteroids Deluxe arcade cabinet for $60.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's working?
Steal.
Functional?
No, it's not working. And I'm just going to yank all the parts out of it and make a box.
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool. That's awesome, man. So when you finally got a hold of the NES, how did you know you had magic in your hands at that point?
Well, okay. So if you play, I only had one game. It was 2 games. It was Mario and Duck Hunt. They came on one cartridge, and you could put it in and play them. And Duck Hunt was cool. I enjoyed it. But Mario, that game was absolutely so fantastically designed. I mean, if you read interviews with Miyamoto where he talks about how he makes the Goomba there in that first spot so it kills you when you first start playing, and then you're like, okay, well, now I got to learn to jump over it. So then you run up to the Goomba and you jump over it, and he placed it perfectly so that when you jump over it, you hit a box above, and something shaped just like the Goomba but looks different pops out. And that kind of level design, that's what just pulled me in. It was just so well thought out. And before that, playing on my Atari 2600, the games were not well thought out for sure. So I think that's probably why I kind of fell in love with Nintendo as a company because they just almost everything that they make is just so well thought out and polished. And I think that's what I look for in games.
That Goomba is the most deadly creature in any video game, period. It's killed more. It's taken more lives. Seriously, that meme that went out a few years ago was hilarious. So let's kind of we'll just kind of like rapid fire this a little bit. What are what were some of the like favorites on the NES that like you could just play over and over again?
Well, a lot of the multiplayer stuff, taking turns on Mario. I played a hell of a lot of Zelda. I remember going to school and talking to my friends at school and saying, having discussions about, man, if you go here and then you find this thing, and have you found the whistle yet? And, no, what is the whistle? What does that do? That kind of thing. And it that's the kind of thing that has come back to gaming with Breath of the Wild, because I feel like those conversations are happening again, and they haven't happened in a long time, I don't think.
Oh, kind of bringing us back to those playground conversations of like, have you seen this and have you seen that? Like, yeah, you're totally right, man. I hadn't even thought about that, but that's once you can finally talk about Breath of the Wild without people saying spoilers, that's the thing. That's what we kind of mentioned it last week, like that whole being able to see where you've been on the map. Like, did you find after you fired that up that you were like, I can't believe I missed this whole area?
Actually, I haven't done that. I've only done hard mode since the DLC came out. So I haven't loaded in my original save. I've only done hard mode, and it's totally sucked me back in. I put in 100 hours into the original one, and I'm already at like 50 on hard mode.
Wow. Destination or Hate, did either of you guys fire that up to see? I haven't pulled the trigger on the DLC.
Yeah, I looked at it the other day, and not much to my surprise. The top left, what's that mountain range up there?
Hebra.
I've spent almost no time up there, so I'll probably backtrack over there. And there were a few other places that surprised me. The bottom right, I'm terrible with the names of these places. The like jungly area, the rainforesty.
Oh yeah.
Didn't spend a lot of time there either. So, and I remember viewing those spots, but it's hard. Maybe it was in stream or something.
Excuse me. RJS, I want to keep going, man. Was it Super Nintendo was the next system on the list for you?
It was, and I played a whole bunch of Super Nintendo. Again, Zelda has always been a thing that's been at like the forefront of my gaming, but I think Street Fighter 2 was it Championship Edition. I think that's the one that probably spent the most time in the actual cartridge, and I'm a huge fan of video game music as well, and I couldn't tell you who did what or what's best, but Super Nintendo had a really good sound chip. And I remember that my mom would, whenever I would misbehave, she would ground me. And one of the ways that she would ground me is she would take the controllers. So I would leave the cartridges in and turn it on and listen to the music. And I'd be like, yeah, I love this
Joke's
music.
on her.
Yeah, take that, Mom. Just kidding, Mom. You're awesome.
Oh, that's cruel, man. That's cruel.
That Street Fighter music, though, that was just super classic. Like, I think I have the music from the Ken stage. That's just constantly in my head. It just pops in there throughout my day. That, and like you said, the loading screen, not loading screen, but like the title screen music for that game. That's again just randomly throughout the day, it just pops into my head.
That's rad. That's for some. The one for me is Super Mario Brothers 2. That's like, you can ask Destinot every time I'm getting these shows ready. I'm always like humming Super Mario Brothers 2 for some reason. It's always there.
That
like,
and Creed, I don't get that.
No, I do not do Creed.
All right, so I think we're done here, right?
Yeah, podcast over. I'm out.
End of show.
Oh my goodness, you guys are too funny. So, was it Nintendo all the way through, man? Was it 64, GameCube, so on and so forth?
Well, I mean, okay, so I've had a Nintendo and then the Super Nintendo and then I had the 64, I had the GameCube. I've had all of the Nintendo consoles except for the Virtual Boy, because who the hell owned one of those?
I want one.
I'm sure Josh has one. Do you have one, Josh?
I want one. I know where to get one at the moment I have the money for it.
There you go. And he will, because he always pulls the trigger on stuff. But
stop.
But I wasn't always. I wasn't what people would say would be loyal, because I was always kind of a grass is greener kind of kid, and I would see like the Sega stuff, and I'd be like, oh man, that Genesis stuff. Look, Genesis does what Nintendo don't, and I want that. And so, at some point, I traded in my Super Nintendo. A lot of people are mad at me now. Put away the pitchforks, people. I can see them. But I traded in my Super Nintendo, got a Genesis, and I spent a whole lot of time playing. Oh God, what is the name? It's a turn-based strategy game. It really reminds me of Fire Emblem, but I can't think of the name of it.
General
Shining
Chaos
Force
is the only one that comes to my mind.
No. Shining Force.
Okay.
Fantastic game, and I played that religiously. Super fun game. But then I ended up trading in my Genesis to get the whatever the next Sega thing, and then eventually I went back to Nintendo when the 64 came out.
The Saturn? You had the Saturn?
I had, not only did I have, okay, so I had the Sega CD.
Oh no, this should turn into a Sega show right now.
I know. Well, I worked at a Babbage's, which is a video game store, so I had a huge discount, and I also made a little bit of money because we sold computer games and we were allowed to take them home and copy them, so that we knew what the games were like.
Of course.
And so, people would come to me, hey man, you got a copy of this game? And I'd be, you can for $5, that kind of thing. Way back in the day, I don't do that anymore, kids. Don't pirate stuff. But so I had the money to buy that stuff. But I had a Saturn, I had a Dreamcast, so I've had lots of different consoles. But Nintendo is my favorite.
I have to ask because I've actually had hands-on one because I had a neighbor that had one. Did you ever play the 3DO?
No, I did not. That thing was like 700. No,
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's the Neo Geo.
I think it was like $700. It was either $600 or $700 because I just watched a thing on YouTube on it the other day. It was not
I
cheap.
never played a 3DO. I did play an Atari Jaguar though. Ooh. That thing was a mess. Like the controller had like a phone pad in the middle of it. It was a disaster. I don't know what they were thinking.
You can get those now for, I just watched online, like $80. So yeah, I guess out there on a Jaguar or 3DO, I think those go for about the same amount. And the 3DO,
you think they're going to?
I was gonna say the 3DO apparently had 0 copy protection, so you can just burn games to disc, CDs, and play all 80 games.
Do you guys think that the upcoming Atari box is going to have? And I know this is non sequitur, but do you think it'll have like Atari Jaguar games on it?
I don't know. It's supposed to have current. It said current PC hardware, whatever that means, But like, I can't imagine why it wouldn't be able to run those games. It'd be interesting. I think if they had like every Atari game, including Jaguar, the old 2600 stuff, because that would fit onto like one Blu-ray now.
Yeah, if we get ET HD remake, it's all I need. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I got a copy of ET right up there. I can't get up and reach it because I'll bump the mic, but it's right up there.
Did you have to dig it up yourself, or?
No, okay. I found it at a GameStop.
Okay.
Or not a GameStop, a Game Shop.
Sorry, I had to ban somebody from the chat. So that's always fun. I don't know. I feel like when we're in the talk show category, the trolls just love to come hang out. Like, I don't understand, but whatever. That is the case. Let's end this little part here, RJS. Lastly, what would you say is out of all the Nintendo systems, what would you say the game that you don't necessarily say like your favorite or your desert island game, but like what would you say is one that you're like, I couldn't live without this one. Like what or maybe you played the most, whatever. What you find, for me it would be like a Mario Kart title, right? Like I could always go back to a Mario Kart title.
Mm-hmm. That's a really tough one. And I think that mostly it's tough for me because I want to say Breath of the Wild because that game has absolutely consumed me. But at the same time, I'm playing it so recently that I feel like it's in the forefront of my mind. And it's making it hard for me to think of other stuff. But when I'm not playing Breath of the Wild, I am thinking about playing Breath of the Wild. And that hasn't happened probably since World of Warcraft. Like when World of Warcraft came out, I was playing that game nonstop. And when I wasn't playing it, I was looking up stuff online about it. And when I wasn't looking up stuff online about it, I was going on the internet not going on the, I was talking to people about it. And Breath of the Wild seems to have done that same thing for me. If we're looking at something more retro, and again, we're sticking with this Zelda category, is I've played through, I don't usually replay games, but I've played through Zelda, A Link to the Past many, many times because it's so good.
Gotcha. That's one I have not replayed since I was a kid. And I'm thinking we have Vacation coming up, and I have it on my 3DS, so I may end up jumping back into that one. So
do it.
But I loved it as a kid. It was great. Okay, real quick, we'll do this again at the end, but I want to just kind of make sure it's fresh in people's minds. Where can people find your stream and all that other stuff? Like, give us the quick lowdown.
Right, I'm at Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Run Jump Stomp. But if you're looking for my Nintendo podcast, you can find it at runjumpstomp.com/switchcraft.
Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, I want to get into we're going to talk a little bit about this week's releases and then the news for this week, and then we have a retro question because after looking over a handful of our reviews, a lot of people want to talk about retro stuff a little bit. So we're going to try to squeeze a lot into this hour slot, and so hopefully we can get there. But this week's releases: Splatoon 2 and Amiibos for days. There's so many Amiibo coming out this week that it makes my wallet hurt. So, guys, who's picking up Splatoon 2 day one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it coming.
Yep, 2 copies.
2 copies. Okay. All right. Destinant.
Yes.
What's Friday going to look like for you trying to play this game?
Well, I think I mentioned before, my wife, she's not a huge gamer. She's like right now she's playing some game that's similar to like a Tetris style Jewel game, but the whole point of it is to get Disney emotes. Yeah, that's the type of
my
gamer.
wife plays that game too.
Yeah, so but that's the type of gamer she is, She loved she likes Angry Birds, and I don't think she ever got into Candy Crush, but she's not a console gamer or anything or not hardcore at all. But she loves Splatoon for some reason. It just I think it was maybe the OCD factor of trying to get every single inch of the floor, colored the correct color, because she'll just sit there. I'm like, no, just throw the ink out in a broad section, and she's like, no, there's this little corner here that's got like 2 inches of no ink. So yeah, but she loves that game, so that's something that we can kind of share together. So yeah, Friday night is gonna be us, maybe a bottle of wine. I don't know, we might get crazy.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, bottle of wine and some nachos. And yeah,
class it up.
So much class, dude.
Yeah, but no, that's definitely a day one buy for me. Because yeah, I loved the first one. I actually had a Wii U and played quite a bit of the original Splatoon. I just got a whole bunch of flack for complaining about Destiny 2 not being new enough and looking just like Destiny 1. But if Splatoon 2 is just like Splatoon 1, I'm actually okay with that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know it's bizarre, but the fact is I don't have a Wii U anymore. So
Right.
if Splatoon 2 is just like Splatoon 1, cool, I'll be able to play it again.
So does that mean Splatoon is that good of a game, or does it mean that Destiny just the community was better than the game itself and that was the draw? Like, why is that?
I mean, I think if you're gonna compare like Destiny being, it's just more of a traditional first person shooter. I really think Splatoon is like apples and oranges compared to it.
No, I just meant you're fine with Splatoon 2 being a new coat of paint, but not.
I think the thing was Splatoon changed a little bit over the course of its life, but I felt that from the moment I put that game in, or I should say from when I played the demo of it, I loved it. So then it just clicked with me, you know. I just enjoyed it from the first second I played it to the last time I played it. And a game like Destiny, we talked about this on the last podcast, it just changed so much over its lifetime that I really felt like it was never, this is like the definitive version of Destiny. This is what it is. This is where we're leaving it. Eventually, obviously, they're going to leave it as is now because they're going to stop kind of like supporting it in a sense. So it's going to end up the way it ends up. But it just changed. It evolved so much that I never felt like I could like kind of like get into a groove and be like, okay, this is the game. I'm going to get good at this, because it was always changing. Splatoon though gave you more guns over time because they did a lot of like free DLC for that, where it was just like, hey, new guns, try this out. So when I jumped back into that game like way later on, I was totally lost because I'm like, I don't even know what I just got killed by because I don't even know what these guns are. It was just fun though. It didn't require that. I know originally that was Josh's concerns with Splatoon, where he's like, oh man, I can't just go around like headshotting people. It's just a different type of game. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just one of those games that clicked for me.
It clicked for me this weekend.
Yeah.
Like the first time I played it, it didn't click all that much. But jumping into the Splatfest, it really did click, and I'm pumped. How many of you guys played the Splatfest this weekend? I know Destinot missed it, and he was super sad about it.
Every day they've had that Splatfest, I've like not been home, and I'm like, really? I played it the first time the very first one I played, but that was it.
I love that Nintendo's doing it. I think it's great what they're doing, but the stupid times and 3-hour blocks, like,
oh yeah,
I can't just drop everything to play a Splatfest.
Yeah, that was a bummer. But I think it may have been somewhat intentional, so they didn't completely melt the servers, maybe, you know. But I don't know. It's odd. I don't know why it wasn't like a weekend worth, you know, or I don't know. I don't know.
I call it pulling a Nintendo. They do 90% amazing, and then 10% like, who the hell made this decision? Get him out here so we can beat the hell out of him, because they make so many decisions that are just so asinine.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but you guys are so good at making games. Somebody walked into a boardroom at some point and said, let's do this. And nobody told them no.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's, at least this was like, what was it, like a 4 hour play session, you know, better than the 1 hour ones that were just like,
that's true.
Oh, hang on, let me set all my reminders on my phone so that my alarms are going off at certain times. Like, it's so bizarre. It's just really bizarre. But Splatoon, I want to spend just a few minutes talking about Splatoon 2 and what's appealing about it. To me, the competitive aspect of it has really clicked, and I played quite a bit with Super Nintendo, and we were in chat. We got into our Discord chat. The app has just come out, guys. So as if you listen to this tomorrow or today or whatever, the app is available as of right now, as of recording. You still cannot sign in. It still says the server is under maintenance. So I played a lot of matches. Some of the matches we got wrecked, just absolutely wrecked. And then we started communicating a little bit better, and things got better. Oh, and Nintendo Life was also. I didn't mean to forget about you, Chief. He was an animal in there. That he's like our Splatoon pro. It's all he talks about in chat usually is playing Splatoon and not being able to wait for Splatoon 2 to come out. So, so when we finally started communicating, it really changed the way that game played. Because before it was just kind of like run out and you kind of try to do your own thing and do your part, but it doesn't necessarily work that well. And if you can really kind of just, even if the communication's not there, if you can stick with one other person and kind of watch their back and help get the team fire, like the team shots. I mean, these are like basic first person shooter, third person shooter, like the 101. You're gonna do better. But then really utilizing like your specials and that kind of stuff, like this game can get really competitive, and I really enjoyed that about it. RJS, I saw you post that you were playing. I tried to join you. For some reason you weren't showing up on my friends list, and I was like, what is the deal here? So did you have a good time with it?
I did. It's funny because I recorded my podcast earlier today, and I kind of held Splatoon 2's feet to the fire. I complained about a bunch of stuff that I didn't like. And I even got some tweets from some listeners that were like, hey, where's the joy? And all I can say is, I got to call it like it is. The game is amazing. But again, they pulled in Nintendo, and there's some stuff in there that's just dumb. But the game is really, really fun. And I had a blast playing it when you're in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, the only time you played was during the just the beta a few weeks ago?
I've never played.
At all?
What?
At all?
No, I know. I've never done it. Nope.
Okay.
He probably still calls it paint.
Yeah, it's pretty much paint to me. Hey, I pre-ordered it. I'm going to right the wrongs, maybe. We'll see.
The real question, guys, who's buying the headset?
No.
Okay, we'll be sticking to Discord.
Well, the thing is, unless there's some type of Nintendo magic in there, it looks to me like it's just a splitter that splits audio.
Well, that's not made by Nintendo either.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like it's proprietary to, you could probably use your, what is it, the A40 mix amp. I get the feeling that's basically what it is. Yeah, that's just weird. I don't know what's up with that whole headset thing.
How do you guys plan on playing Splatoon though, for the most part?
What do you mean, like as far as
are you
voice
gonna
chat?
do docked or handheld? Obviously the beauty of the Switch is okay.
I'll personally probably play it docked, mostly because the game is fairly reliant on motion controls. I know that you don't have to use them, but the thing about Splatoon 1 that I hated was I had to use the gamepad, and it was just too big, and I didn't like the motion controls kind of wobbling it around like that. I felt like using the Pro Controller, which seems to have disappeared from my desk somehow. I feel like using the Pro Controller really felt very comfortable, especially the size. It felt comfortable to use the gyro aiming, so I'll probably only play it docked.
So then, it's not too far of a stretch to use the phone app. Shouldn't be. I know you want to.
How far away you sit, though, right? Because you're talking about a cable all the way to your couch to your dock.
No.
If you game on a
not from your phone app. You just have your phone in your hand.
No, but if you
Right,
want
but-
game audio, you have to have a cable coming out of your Switch also.
No, you just run a old school underneath,
No,
and then you put your
no.
game audio on top of it. That's what
All
Miyamoto
right, you know-
wants.
You know what I said earlier
Give him what he
about
wants.
pitchforks? Get them out.
Well, that's also, like you said, the whole Nintendo being Nintendo thing. It's just very bizarre, some of the stuff they do, like, you know, with this whole, like, workaround, you know? It seems like we have the most portable system in the world if you're wearing cargo pants and you've got something in every single pocket. Then you can get the full...
Some Jinkos.
Then you get the full, you know, Splatoon effect. You know?
I
So,
assume they did some market research and they decided,
know if they
this
did.
app's going to be perfect because everyone's on. They had to have done something.
Yeah, they went, we want to keep kids safe, so they can't figure out how to use this thing.
Now, kids know how to use a phone. I'm a teacher. The kids know how. If they know how to use anything, they know how to use a phone. They're going to have no problem getting mom and dad's thumb. They bring it over to them, and they just kind of, mom and dad's sleeping, passed out. They hold the phone up to their thumb, and they get all signed in, and Junior's all set to scream racial slurs at 40-year-old men as they're trying to play a game because we're too slow.
There's other. I mean, maybe there were rumors for a while that the Switch isn't strong enough to support the chat and all that running in the background and try to pump out 1080p for their games. It's a rumor, but I mean, who knows? There has to be a reason.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I've said this a million times. For Nintendo, a little transparency goes a long way. And if they would just tell us what the reason is, people would probably shut up. But they're just so tight-lipped and secretive that we're all, like, trying to come up with what the hell is the reason that they're doing this.
That could be the marketing strategy, though, because I mean, maybe they're going off of the whole like no press is bad press mentality, where it's like, hey,
Maybe.
they hate us.
I'm pretty sure
but at least
it's
they're
bad
talking
press.
about us.
For them to come out and say our system's underpowered and we can't pump audio chat through and play games at the same time, that's not the look they want.
No, that's true.
I think what it boils down to is they're like, hey, look, they figured out how to use the N64 controller, which technically took 3 hands. They can figure out how to hold a phone and play the Switch at the same time.
There you go.
I will say that what I really hope, and I've said this before, is that the phone app convinces me otherwise. Like right now, we have no idea what this thing is like, but maybe it's really friggin' cool. And if that's the case, then I'll be happy that they did it. But they haven't tried to sell it to us. And the Switch has been out for how many months now? 4? Something like that. You would think that at some point there would have been a Nintendo Direct where they said, hey, this is why we want to do this phone app thing, instead of just dropping it a couple days before Splatoon comes out.
Well, be wary. Don't cast your judgment on Friday because it's probably a glorified beta right now. It was only rushed to get out for Splatoon, I'm guessing, and so don't assume this is the final product.
Yeah, you know it's a beta because they aren't charging for it until next year now. So, so it looks like we'll be playing some Splatoon. Guys, I'll definitely be streaming it. Twitch.tv/N64Josh. I know Run Jump Stomp will be streaming it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Destinot, maybe?
No.
Maybe? Hey, you're not quite streaming yet, right?
No, probably not.
One day.
Maybe
Okay.
someday.
So let's we're gonna get into some news here. So we already talked about our Splatfest impressions, which I thought were just Splatoon in general, and Fire Emblem Fates for Switch. Now I wrote these notes earlier, like yesterday. Is this rumor? Has it finally been like squashed? Is it fake? Do we know? Have we heard anything? Anybody know?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Well, so basically, RJS, you know the lowdown of this. We give us a quick rundown of what this is about.
Well, Amazon.es, which I think is Spain.
I love that you
don't
said Estonia on your podcast.
I was being
like,
a smart aleck.
Linkovich.
Oh yeah,
Espanol.
nice reach, man. Linkovich, holy cow, buddy.
Oh man.
So So Amazon.es, they had uploaded it looked like a Nintendo Switch box art of Fire Emblem Fates Complete Edition, and I would buy it because that's 3 games for the price of 1, and I only bought the first Fire Emblem Fates, so I wouldn't even feel like I'm double dipping. But then it was almost immediately taken down, but not before someone got screenshots.
Right. Yeah, Super Nintendo saying the only thing that he knows the artwork is fan made cover from Tumblr. So that's it. Fingers crossed, I guess. I mean, I've been playing Fire Emblem Awakening. I played it this Sunday for a while. I'm trying to get back into that series. I want to love it. I want to understand it. The storytelling seems to be great. And so anything that can help me get more into that series, I'm all about. Destinot, Fire Emblem Fates for you, exciting? Don't care? What's the...
I'm like you, but one step back. The Fire Emblem games have always, I guess, have been intriguing to me. The only one I've ever touched is the one for GameCube, and I played it for like 10 minutes. So it's like right up my alley. It's got the Japanese cartoon look for Josh. Yeah, great, which I love. So
by calling anime cartoons, sorry,
but no, I've actually never played a Fire Emblem game. Yeah, don't at me.
Well, we have it's Fire Emblem Warriors is confirmed.
Yeah, but that's like a typical Warriors game, you know. I don't think it's not the same style of gameplay. You know, that's Dynasty Warriors with a skin.
Yeah,
that's like a button masher. It's not a strategy game.
Yeah,
and honestly, but it may be a gateway drug, right? Kind of like
no, because
Heroes is on the phone.
I didn't like that game at all.
Well, maybe not for you, but maybe for it may pique somebody's interest about getting into getting to know these characters more. Honestly, for me, playing it on the phone, the Fire Emblem game on the phone. Like I log in, I still don't really know what I'm doing. I log in every day. I have over 400 orbs. I looked to buy orbs. It's like $75 for like 140 orbs. I'm like, I'm rolling in the dough on this game.
If only you could sell them.
I know, that's the same thing Destinot said. He's like, can you sell those?
Make a living.
Hey, how about you, buddy? You
I'm standing even further back on this than Destinot.
Like, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this game. No, I'm kidding. I've heard of it, but no, I never played them, so I have no idea. I'm always open to play a new good game, though.
Yeah. Well, and I've thought about like going back and because I asked a few people like, hey, where should I start? And they said the Game Boy Advance games. But the problem is those are so easy to, like they sell fakes on eBay all the time. So it's like, oh, it's only $7. Well, you may get like a third of the way into the game and then it just stops because it's not a real thing. So
do you have a Wii U?
I do. Yeah. I was honestly thinking again, vacation. So I'm like, oh, I'll throw it in my SP and just play it there. But, that may be the other option too. Then I can stream it as well. See, I like where your head is at. I like it. Okay. This one is awesome, guys. I don't know if you guys all saw this or not, but Mario Kart VR is a thing in Japan. I don't have all the details in front of me right now, but I watched the video. Basically, you've got to go to this place to play. It's not like it's coming out on a system or anything like that. It's being developed by Bandai Namco. I almost mixed the name up. Or I maybe still did. But it looks amazing. Did anybody else see the video of this where like literally like you see like first person, you're in the cart, you put your hand up, you can grab a banana, you can chuck a banana, you can chuck a shell, you can slam down with a hammer. Like the game looks gorgeous. I hope this comes to the States in some form. I'm doubtful, but man, it looks like a ton of fun. Did any of you guys see this video?
Yeah. I watched it. What was it? Was it 3 days ago? 4 days ago? that came out. When you look down and you're playing as Yoshi, you can see your nose.
Didn't think you were
That's
going
awesome.
It's it's a Nintendo podcast.
Right.
But it looked really cool. Yeah, you have to throw the shell, and I think it only had 3 items. It was like a shell, a fire leaf, and fire flower. And what was the third? Do you remember?
I don't.
Maybe it was banana. That would make a lot of sense.
Banana, the hammer. I don't know. A few things.
But yeah, it looked awesome. Graphically, it was pretty good. I mean,
yeah, I thought so. Desant, did you see it?
No.
Well, you're going to. I'll make sure you get it.
I'll look it up and check it out. You're saying like, oh, maybe we'll get it over here somewhere. You're saying it was in the arcade over there?
It's like it. I don't know how to explain it exactly. It seemed like almost like a VR bar kind of thing. Like
I don't think it was an arcade. I think they were trying to show off the tech.
Oh, okay.
And so, but theoretically, it could move. I was
gonna say yeah. And then you mentioned Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco, same. Well, they were the publisher for Pokken Tournament, which originally was an arcade game that got ported to the Wii U.
Yeah.
So
and they also did. Is it GP Mario Kart GP? That's the arcade version.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, who knows?
Sure, he says.
No, but I mean, maybe
if you say so.
Could see it on Switch. Obviously, maybe not in VR form, but maybe a first-person Mario Kart. Wishful thinking. You know? Yeah, I don't see there because I mean, I think with Nintendo, a lot of times, a lot of people are probably like, "Dude, I would love to see that." It's just not going to happen. They're so protective with their IPs anyways. Like they're just going to throw it out to the latest and greatest craze of that year. Yeah, I don't see it happening.
The thing that I did notice about the video that I thought was really cool is as whoever's view we were seeing it from, they had passed. I think it was Peach or somebody, and as they were passing her, they turned their head to look at them, and the other character turned their head to look at the one that was passing, and like their eyes met for a second, and I thought it was I looked at that and I thought, that's awesome. But even if it comes here, I am not strapping a disease-ridden thing to my face because my God, that's going to be gross.
So worth it.
Just bring a Lysol wipe.
I would do it. I don't care.
All I can think of when you're saying like how the character will turn and like look at you. I think Josh has a GIF or GIF, whatever, tagged to his Twitter, and it's like the Luigi giving you that dirty look as he's driving.
Oh, he totally dodges like a bomb, and then it blows up in Mario's face, and he's just like, yeah.
Yes, that's like that's all I can see now. Someone just like getting mean mugged by like Bowser.
Oh man. So next up we had Hey Pikmin come out on the 3DS, the demo. I played it. I know probably only RJS played it, right? Yep, I was right.
Yep, I played it.
What do you think?
You said 3DS. I don't own one.
I know.
It was okay.
I'm not mad at you.
He's mad. Look at him.
I'm not mad. It's a smile.
I can see the anger behind your eyes.
No, it's.
I thought it was okay. I wouldn't. It's not a game for me. I'm sure. I'm glad that they're making it for somebody. The thing that I didn't like is just the control scheme. I felt like whenever I have to use my left hand with the thumbstick and then my right hand with the stylus on the 3DS, it's not comfortable. You always end up doing the little pinky thing where you rest it on your pinky as you're playing, and I don't know. It wasn't compelling enough for me to go back to it. I almost felt like it was a game made for little kids.
Oh, good. That's probably why I loved it so much.
Did you like the original Pikmins? Were you a fan?
Yes, but this has nothing really to do with those.
Oh, really? Okay.
Except for Olimar cannot fly a ship.
Well, that's pretty much standard, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and maybe this will help some people out. The way I played that game is I held the DS with my left hand, and then I put the bottom corner of the DS into my right hand, and then just tapped the screen And so I didn't have to do anything with my pinky. It wasn't uncomfortable. But believe me, I played a lot of the Zelda games on the original DS, and like they were excruciating. I don't know if you guys ever played Ninja Gaiden on the DS, but like literally you turn your DS like a book, and then it was strictly stylus controls. That was it. And so it sometimes it was rough, but some of them were kind of fun. So for some reason, this Pikmin game, I liked it. Part of the reason I liked it is the exploring. I found like a Zelda like Link's Awakening DX cart, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool. Like I couldn't figure out how to get up to it, but like I'm like, oh, this kind of like treasure hunting, you know? I was like, this is kind of fun. It's almost like what I do in real life, looking for old games and stuff. So I enjoyed it. My wife seemed to like it. I couldn't even get my daughters to play it. They were just like, oh, whatever, I've got my phone, or what, you know. Just I think my daughter was going to download it. She's like, oh, my DS is dead, and then she never came back to it. So, but I liked it. I mean, I was surprised because I'm not a huge fan. Like Metroid Hunters, trying to play that was rough. I had thumb styluses that I found that I could strap to my thumb and hold the thing normally, and then just use my thumb on the touchscreen, which worked pretty well. But it's still kind of goofy. So anyway, that's coming out next. That's July 28th, I believe. So last thing I want to touch on, we got Smash in Evo, which the Wii Smash 4 had more viewers than Melee, which surprised quite a few people. I think when I popped in, it was ending, and it had 134,000 people watching it on Twitch, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I believe they even aired it on like Disney XD or something like that with the help of IGN. So that's pretty cool that it was seeing actual airtime on television. Not that that's really all that relevant anymore, but you know, still a thing. Did any of you guys catch, like, Captain Logan got some of the highlights of that stream and showed me, and man, I love watching just the top players go head to head in Smash. To me, that's one of the most entertaining games to watch. Every time I think, oh, I'm going to really get into Smash, I'm like, I don't have the time to try to figure this game out, because it just seems beyond me. But I love the idea, and I really love watching it. Did any of you guys get a chance to see it?
Only those videos that you said you saw that Captain Logan posted. Yeah, I'm with you, because there's a lot of these games that I like. For example, you know, the Street Fighter games. I haven't played ARMS yet, but you know, Smash Brothers. I'm in no way, shape, or form top level. You know, and to see what some of these people pull off, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
just crazy. Hey, did you catch any of it?
Just a very brief amount, but I mean, I saw it exist and I saw a little bit about it, but no, not really.
Gotcha. RJS, did you catch any of it live?
I did not see any of it. However, I'm with you. I cannot possibly compete at the level that these guys do, but I do love watching that stuff. Like, I never thought that I was going to be somebody who was interested in esports at all.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy watching esports, and Smash is very fun to watch, especially when they get knocked off the platform like 58 miles away and somehow they make it back. I'm like, how the hell are you doing this? They're cheating.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I did watch a little bit of the Melee tournament with my son, and he's like, how do they move so fast? How do those guys get those characters to move that fast? Because I've been playing Smash with my boys since Melee. Mostly on the Wii is when we played it, because they were just the perfect age for that. But he's just like, how is Fox moving around so quickly? I'm like, I don't know, man. The guys, they're hackers. I don't know what else to say. And
magic.
But yeah, pretty cool nonetheless. Yeah, exactly. So the last thing I want to just kind of mention is that ARMS is going to be at Japan Evo this year, which I know that's got a few people pretty hyped. Any ARMS fans in here?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I know. You need
Every
to
time you
remedy
say that, it bothers me.
It's a solid game. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I would like to pick it up. It's just
Oh, it's the end of January. Sorry, just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's one of those things. Well, I will pick it up eventually, probably. Probably when everyone stops playing it, I'll get it and be like, "There's no one on the servers." So I don't know. It didn't. I don't know. It just didn't jump right out at me. And I am a big fan of first-party Nintendo games, so yeah, I don't know.
I watched the video where they announced it. It seemed like that it was weird because they had up on the screen all the different games that were coming to the January thing, and when they said ARMS or when they showed ARMS, it seemed like that got the biggest cheer. And I don't know if it's because people were just surprised or because people were that pumped for the game.
I think I'm most excited to see what a professional ARMS player can do.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not good by any means, but I have fun. I can only imagine those guys are just doing stuff I didn't even think was possible.
Do you guys think Evo will make a requirement that you have to use motion controls or that you can play the way that you feel like playing?
I've heard who was it? Someone recently told us that whoever the creator was said that the preferred method is motion controls. I think Josh, you said that you had only played on the controller and then you did try motion controls and you felt that maybe it was a little bit easier with motion controls.
I think I think you have way more control with the motion controls than you do with the controller.
Yeah, I shouldn't say easier, but there's just like that little bit of, I guess you'd say, like that competitive edge you get from doing it with the motion. I feel like if that is in fact true, then if you're at that high of a level, you're gonna go with whatever gives you the most competitive edge. So, and if that's motion control, I can't imagine there being someone that's using a controller. If it in fact gives you that much of an advantage.
Yeah, it might be negligible, and the throw on a thumbstick versus throwing your arm might be short enough that it makes up for it. I don't know. I'd love to see how they play.
Nintendad from the chat says that some major tournaments have already been played, and they were using Pro controllers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think it would be weird to have two people on stage where one person is flailing their arms around like a crazy man, and the other person's sitting there with the thumbs. So, I don't know. I almost feel like Evo would have to say it's going to be one or the other, and I also feel like that would be a problem because then it's like, all right, well, I want to play, but I can't play the way that you told me that I have to. So, I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Captain Logan makes a good point. He says the trouble with motion controls, they can always say there was a problem with the Joy-Con responding, where now, with the update to the Switch, you can plug in the Pro controller and tell it that it is a corded controller. So that may end up being the way they say it needs to be. But who knows?
Although at E3 they did have corded Joy-Cons.
Oh, interesting. Well, there you go. So who knows? We'll find out. It's exciting that it's being taken that serious, and that we might actually see that we might get to see some high level play. I'm stoked for that. So, guys, we're just about to wrap this thing up, but I have a question for our little retro section here. And what is your favorite NES platformer that's not a Mario game? So NES 8-bit favorite platformer, and doing a little bit of Googling, even for like some top 10 NES platformers, games like Mega Man, Contra. Some of those games were because somebody said Contra, like, is that a well, you do a lot of jumping in that game. So, I mean, technically could be a platformer. So, a lot of the Capcom games, like Disney games, What do you guys think? And do you have any off just the right off the top of your head? Do you guys
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the van.
With the dam where you got to disarm the bombs.
Dam, but yeah, the van you could drive around briefly.
Yeah.
And run over the foot soldiers.
So that'd be your favorite
from NES. Yeah, probably. I played that a lot.
Cool. Destinat?
Well, I don't know if I consider Contra to be a platformer. If so, I mean, I think that's definitely like maybe a hybrid, shooter platformer. That's like one of my favorite games of all time. So I mean, if we're putting that in the mix, I'm definitely gonna go with that.
Okay.
The only other one I was gonna really think of. Oh man, I just lost it. Come back to me, I'll remember it. Because we were talking about this the other day, and
A Boy and His Blob.
No. Come back to me on that one. I'll remember.
Okay. RJS, how about you? Favorite?
Bionic Commando.
Ooh.
I loved Bionic Commando when I was a kid.
Good choice.
Especially like that ability just to throw that arm in there and to be able to swing and land those jumps. It always felt really good when you nailed a good swing and then land. And especially because you could also shoot midair. Mm-hmm. I loved Bionic Commando, and I especially liked when Hitler's face explodes. That was cool.
There was just a grittiness to that game. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
And if you've never played the remake, you should.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you go. Well, I know I think I may even talked about it last week, but like DuckTales was probably one of my favorite platformers that wasn't Mario. Like running around with Scrooge, doing the little pogo jump on his cane, that kind of stuff, using the cane as like a golf club, like all that stuff. I loved it. I could play that game over and over and over again. And yeah. And I hate to admit this, I don't have that game in my physical collection yet. So I need to right those wrongs very soon. Destinat, did you think of yours yet? Because if not, I have a handful of tweets to read real quick.
I do remember it. And I love this because it was co-op, and I think I've said a while back that a lot of the games I played when I was younger on the NES and going forward were a lot of the co-op games, because me and a buddy of mine played a lot, was Chippendale's Rescue Rangers.
Oh, classic.
Very
cool.
A lot of that game. Really like that one.
Nice. Yeah, the Capcom games were top notch. So I asked the same question on Twitter, and I'll give you guys some answers real quick. This is at Jimmy Pike HK. He said there's only one right answer, with a GIF of Mega Man. And then I'm not going to read the conversation Destinat continued to have with him. This is a kid's show. Destinat actually put Sesame Street 1, 2, 3, Astro Grover, and Ernie's Magic Shapes. Do you want to elaborate?
I don't think that was a platformer, if I remember correctly. That was I had that game. I think you told me that's like worth bajillions of dollars now, because they didn't sell well. They were like those learning games, just like Donkey Kong Math, or Donkey Kong Junior Math. That was when my mom was like, no violent video games, but we were just like so hard up for video games. We're like, well, fine, we'll buy that one. Yeah.
I love it. So we got at Rempacy, Remy Ransom. He's a good buddy of mine. Ghosts and Goblins. Thaddeus Prime says Castlevania or Ninja Gaiden. Draco Augustus, Castlevania. Mr. Divian, Hudson Adventure, Castlevania, or Mega Man. I said one, buddy. I said one. Mick Shivers says Prince of Persia. I played that a lot. I don't remember that game on NES. I never played it anyway, but I played it a ton on the Game Boy, which that was fun. Yeah. Game Freak Elite, Ninja Gaiden, and then Scott _ 777777 says Chippendale. Pale Rider 36, Adventure Island, Adventures of Lolo. Those are different, but he loves them both. PDJ Gaming has a GIF of Mega Man. Johnny Caged 85, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was hard as heck and sometimes unfair, but I loved it. And then I don't know if these are just trolls or what, but Dr. Zero Hour said Luigi's Mansion. And Emo Killa with 2 A's said Pikmin. So, I mean, you get an A for effort, I guess, guys. But anyway, hey, we're at an hour 4. I think we squeezed a lot into this episode. Let's put a bow on this thing. RJS, tell us all the places people can find you.
Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Run Jump Stomp, or you can just head on over to runjumpstomp.com.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
I had a blast.
Good, dude. Good. Destinaut, where can we find you, man?
People can find me at Destinaut TLC. And like we said in the last podcast, head over to twitch.tv/Destinaut, where you can pre-follow for what's to come. You can pre-donate too. I don't know if you're going to get anything for it, but hey, be the first to see what you get.
Hey, where are the few places people can find you?
Dark Alley. No. Right now,
behind you.
Right behind you. Turn around. I'll be on the Discord. Either N64 hate or hate not, depending on my mood that day. We'll see which one sticks.
Awesome.
Depending on the sodium level.
Yeah. Right. I do want to read from the chat here. We did get a few answers here. Captain Logan said Aladdin, but I think that's Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo said Little Nemo, Dream Master. Good. And correct me if I'm wrong on Aladdin, but I only remember it on Super Nintendo.
Super Glove Ball NES. Was that a platformer?
I don't know. I think some of these guys are just trolling, but it's fun nonetheless. Captain Logan said Kirby's Adventure. No one went with Kirby's Adventure, which I just played for the first time this last week on my retro stream.
Weren't you?
I really loved that game. I'm really sad I didn't play it as a kid. I would have really enjoyed it. But more than likely, my mom would have said, "That looks magical. Get it out of our house before it catches fire and takes you to the 7th level of hell." So,
Rygar.
Love you, Mom.
Captain Logan.
That looks magical.
Yeah, Rygar was that was a fun one. That was also a pretty good. When every time I hear the words Bionic Commando, I always get Rygar and Bionic Commando kind of mixed up. Like it's just something I do in my head. But
Future Soldier, Conan wannabe. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I guess. Super Glove Ball, NES, he said, was the first motion control game. Yeah, Power Glove. That worked lovely. So, he said, I don't know that one. I just remember Marble Madness. Okay, well, there we go.
I love Marble Madness.
Yeah, Marble Madness is good stuff. It's good stuff. Well, guys, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, all the places, N64Josh. I am streaming basically daily. We're doing these shows on my personal Twitch channel now. This one's at 9 p.m. Pacific. If you enjoy Destiny, you want to come check that out. That's at 7 p.m. Pacific, both on Tuesdays. You'll be able to find any of the show notes, and we're starting to get more contributors on the lootcave.com. So you can go to lootcave.com/NPC27. I think that's what this episode is. I think that's what we decided. And 28. There we go. So the lootcave.com/NPC28. So there you'll find the links to RJS and Destinaut and our Discord, which is the lootcave.com/NPC Discord. And lastly, we got a handful of reviews. The last one, the most recent one we got, said that they loved Destinaut's saltiness and my lack of saltiness, basically. So I got a good kick out of that. If you guys feel like leaving us a review, let us know. This is kind of going to be more of the the layout of this show. Like we are, I want to try to really stick to notes and kind of talk some news, talk some retro stuff, talk about releases, and talk about what we're playing, and then interview our guests. So if you're liking that, let us know. If you hate it, let us know. we appreciate it either way. So thank you so much. And if you're in the chat, thank you for being here with us live. Riddell, Captain Logan, Super Nintendo Dad, Nintendo Life, looks like Ethan 90, and anyone else that's just kind of lurking. I can't even see because my thing shows offline. So thank you guys. And boys, this has been fun. We'll see you guys next week. Later.
Adios.
Let's go find somebody to raid real quick. Let me see. My computer quit twice during that recording, by the way. I had to start it back up, so kind of bummed about that. Let's see. Looks like he already crashed for the night, so find somebody else here. Who do we want to go show the love to? Come on.
Super Nintendo Dad wants to know if you're going to be streaming Destiny 2.
Yes, I will be streaming Destiny 2. Hopefully tomorrow, if I can find my beta codes.
Code?
Yeah, because I lost both of my beta codes. So
hit me up if you need one.
Yeah, I need one. I gotta at least give one to Gavin because he's like,
Here,
"Why are you
let me
ruining
put it
my
in the
life,
chat."
Dad?" Let's see. Oh, here we go. Let's go, guys. Let's go see Lady Desiree, otherwise known as Lady Desire. But she will
clip things off of you.
Uh-oh.
Do we lose him? Are you
Yeah,
having
in a
a
very
stroke?
awkward position
Yeah,
here.
that is like he's being possessed by something.
laugh if you call her that.
Mm,
I'm literally looking at a spinning wheel of death right
so
now.
You're back.
Oh, good.
Well, his face isn't back. He still looks like a stroke victim there.
We're just gonna have to bag it because I can't even grab a link.
Nice.
So that's it.
Alrighty. Night,
All right. This face won't haunt my dreams.
Okay.
Ever.